Now, since 2007, more than a dozen countries have enacted measures to tackle female genital mutilation, or FGM. More than 950 legal cases have been prosecuted. And today, in nearly all countries, the practice has been outlawed. Despite this, it's still a thorn in the flesh of many African countries, with Kenya accounting for, get this, almost 5% of the world's cases of FGM. An indicator the United Nations launched in a global campaign today to end FGM.
As part of the global effort to end female genital mutilation, by the year 2030, the United Nations Chief Ban Ki-moon called for education, not mutilation.
Since 2007, more than a dozen countries have enacted measures to tackle FGM. More than 950 legal cases have been prosecuted, and today nearly all countries where it is prevalent outlaw the practice. Let us continue our campaign to empower these girls and so many others. Let us shift the focus away from mutilation to education. Let us make a world where FGM stands for Focus on Girls' Minds. How about this? FGM stands for Focus on Girls' Minds.
Female genital mutilation remains traditional in many African countries as well as in South Asia and the Middle East. The practice involves the removal of all or part of the external female genitalia. The ancient ritual, often shrouded in secrecy and widely condemned as a serious violation of women's rights, causes many health problems which can be fatal. Some girls bleed to death or die from infections, while others die later in life from childbirth complications.
When I was a teenager and I was on my path to become a woman, for me it was a very tough time. The path was really full of hurt and suffering because I had the physical pain and I also had the psychological pain because, for me, not knowing who I was becoming, because I felt that I would never become a woman, because I had something missing and I wasn't worth it. It took a lot away from what I could achieve as a teenager and what I could realize as a teenager. So I lost my identity when I went through FGM. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what was my place in society. I didn't know how strong I could be, because cutting me was telling me that I'm not good enough, what was I? So I had all these questions, and
I went through FGM when I was 8 years old, and that to me is a scar that I live to stand and talk to people about it. So it's that is in me, that passion that is in me, that pain that I went through, that I want to stand up and tell the world that FGM is not something that we need to talk about, but to end it like right now.
Back home, Elgeyo Marakwet County, Samburu, Kajiado, Isiolo, Tharaka Nithi and Garissa are considered FGM hotspots, as the practice has been prevalent despite years of campaigns to put an end to the disturbing cultural practice. Largely viewed as a gross violation of child's rights and women's rights, civil activist groups are working hard to end the practice that has doomed many women to a lifetime of pain and health complications. According to the recently launched Kenya Demographic and Household Survey of 2014, at least 9.3 million girls and women in Kenya have undergone FGM. That is an alarming 6.64% of the estimated 140 million girls and women who have been cut worldwide. Figures that indicate that Kenya holds an unenviable sizable chunk of a practice the world is steadily growing weary of and is desperate to put in the past. The practice of female genital mutilation, also known as female genital cutting, is defined by the World Health Organization as any procedure that intentionally alters or causes injury to the female genital organs for non-medical reasons. In In 2012, the UN General Assembly adopted a resolution to eliminate female genital mutilation by increasing education on the harms of the practice, strengthening healthcare support, and increasing advocacy in highly impacted areas. Trix Ingado, KTN News.
Burundi's economy shrunk in the second and third quarters of last year at the height of the political violence, which followed the announcement by President Pierre Nkurunziza that he would run for a third term. This essentially means that the country went into a recession. This is according to the technical definition of 2 successive quarters of negative growth. The figures were revealed by a spokesman of the Ministry of Finance today during a press briefing by Burundi's Revenue Authority. But the last quarter of 2015 showed positive growth, and the ministry projects that the trend will continue, meaning that the country's economy will grow by 3.5% in 2016. Last year's negative growth has had an impact on tax revenues, which fell by 24% at the end of the year. Today marks World Internet Day with the global theme of Play a Role for a Better Internet. This conversation comes weeks after American-based entertainment firm Netflix launched in Kenya, sparking uproar on regulation of content among Kenya's content gatekeepers. Here's Zinzi Kibiku with more on that report.
National Council of Churches of Kenya.
Kenya has experienced digital growth over the past few years, a partnership between digital entrepreneurs, government, and other organizations being key to unlocking the potential of Kenya's promising digital economy. The Kenya Film Classification Board is among the groups taking part in making the internet a safer space for Kenyans.
And as we celebrate this growth of internet in Kenya, we also need to look at the other parts of this other side of the coin, its effects on the youth and more so the children. We're not in the business of trying to stop the internet from growing.
For us today in this society.
With the launch of the American entertainment giant Netflix into the country, the Kenya Film Classification Board wants a framework to regulate content in place. Their main concern is in protecting the youth and children from indecent online streaming material.
Kenyans on Twitter are known. There's a whole army out there. And Twitter have reduced the entire world into so-called global, truly global village.
The internet, mobile phones, and other digital technologies have boosted growth, expanded opportunities, and improved services. But it also brings a digital divide. On one hand, the benefits have gone extremely to the wealthy, skilled, and powerful, and those best equipped to take advantage of the digital revolution.
People who know how to use technology. As a teacher, you might be a better teacher than teachers who don't know how to use technology. Or if you are a driver, taxi driver, if you know how to use GPS and things, you can be a better taxi driver, more efficient, get more income. So that's the way the job markets are changing.
The digital growth to a country of 42.7 million is faced with the same global internet challenges. In order for Kenya to play its role for a better internet, she needs to tackle cyberbullying, cybercrime, which costs Kenya's business about $146 million every year. Zinzi Kibiku, KTN News.
So we want to go to the city of Arusha now, that's often described as the gateway to safari destinations and Africa's highest peak, Mount Kilimanjaro. The city is also well known as a tourism hub and perceived as one of the most expensive cities in the East African region. But is the city's lavish lifestyle too draining for its local residents? KTN's Timothy Otieno explores.
So I'm standing right in front of one of the iconic monuments here in Arusha known as the Clock Tower. The city of Arusha that hosts about 800,000 residents, not only known for its beautiful infrastructure, but residents here say it is also known as a tourism hub for the country of Tanzania. A country that prides itself as being one of the most peaceful in the region and one that is reaping the full benefits of that peace manifested in its rich culture and constant stream of tourists all year round. Arusha is the starting point of Tanzania's Northern Circuit safaris and is home to one of the world's most popular national reserves. The city is home to a variety of wildlife and plays hosts to the Ngorongoro Conservational Area, the Old Vai Gorge, as well as the Serengeti, Tarangire, and Lake Manyara National Parks. But does the presence of such world-known destinations mean a more expensive lifestyle for the local residents? Some think so.
Ni hivyo, lakini pia ina season yake, yani ina wakati fulani fulani. Lakini kimsingi ni hivyo. Sasa hivi maisha yamepanda sana.
But it is perhaps the classic case of one man's meat being the other's poison, as some traders in the town think otherwise.
Mimi naona haviko juu sana kwa sababu mfano kama hapa tulipo wengi wanasema bei ziko juu, lakini naamini kwamba wanapokuja kuna ile bei za wenyeji. Kwa hiyo wasiogope kwamba vitu vyote ni bei juu.
29-year-old Daudi Mwaudi, who works as a local trader in the town, says for him, business has been worthwhile in a town that sees not less than 70,000 tourists annually. But he admits that the recent spate of terror attacks in the region has not done much to boost trade in the town.
Biashara misimu miwili au mitatu baada ya kuwa kutokea na Ebola, kutokea na Al-Shababu, kutokea na Westgate Kenya. Kwa hiyo pia Arusha inapakana na Kenya. Kwa hiyo ina maana Kenya wanapoathirika, nchi zinazozunguka Afrika Mashariki pia hata sisi tutakuwa tunaathirika kupata wageni wachache. Sababu wengi nje wanajua kwamba East Africa enda ni nchi moja. Kwa hiyo wanaposikia East Africa kuna shida semfana, wanakuwa na hofu ya kuja kwa wingi, wengine wana cancel safari zao.
For Priscilla Mtindi, there is no place quite like home, and home is Arusha.
Arusha ni Geneva of Africa. Pia ni mji wa kitalii. Pia bila kusahau tuna mbuga za wanyama. Alafu kikubwa zaidi tuna katika maajabu 7 ya dunia tuna Ngorongoro Crater.
The city is not only well known for its tourism, and this crowd gathered in a distance can attest to this. Here, a group of Maasai men are indulged in a trade of a rare kind of mineral known as Tanzanite, only found in the Arusha region of Tanzania.
Tanzanite kama hii unaweza kukaa mwaka bila kuona kama hii. Unapata ile kipendisiro na hapa tunaishi na Tanzanite. Hatuna kazi nyingine.
According to a 2013 report, Arusha was ranked the 7th richest region in Tanzania with a gross domestic product of 2.1 trillion Tanzanian shillings, which is about 10.5 billion Kenya shillings. And the traders here say the town's potential to surpass those figures remain optimistic.
Hello.
Timothy Otieno, KTN News.
All right, so I'd like to leave you with my final thoughts on the show tonight, and it's all about female genital mutilation. Now, the transition from one phase of life to another is something all human beings take very seriously. Whether you're black or white, from a developed nation or one still finding its way on the world stage, the process of coming of age is one special time for every family. The problem is how it is done. Female genital mutilation has been proven to have several bad lifetime effects on a young girl's health. In fact, there are no known health benefits to FGM. That is why it is termed mutilation. It interferes with the natural functions of the woman's body, her ability to have children, which most African communities, by the way, treasure as an important way of perpetuating the clan. The cons far outweigh the pros. Listen to this: abnormal menstrual cycle, difficulty passing urine and persistent urinary tract infections, kidney impairment and possible kidney failure, damage to the reproductive system, including fertility, complications in pregnancy and newborn deaths. How can this still be a good practice? The essence of the ceremony is no doubt important, passage from one important phase to another. But must it lead to loss of life and permanent health damage to those we consider the most important pillars of the African community? We speak to the world all the time about not boxing us into the stereotype of being uncivilized, but we still practice backward, unsafe procedures that are a total contradiction of how far we have come in this continent. Insanity, they say, is described as doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Think about that. Have a good night. Thank you very much. That tonight is The Bottom Line. I'm Yvonne Okwara Matole. As always, from the KTN News Center here in Nairobi, Kenya, we bid you good night.